Yes, yes. Thank you for joining me back in the Champions Corner. And we are here for another round. And hopefully you guys were able to tap in to the first foundational video where we talked about the PS formula. Yes, purposeful service. And we're going to continue to dial in, but this time we back in the lab, baby. It's workshop day. Yes, because we are going to look at the calculation of intent, and we're going to dial into that because I want to make sure that everybody can get in tune and actually, you know, none of this makes sense if we can't put application to it. So that's what we want to do. So we're gonna go ahead and y'all already know how we do it. We're gonna be efficient and we're gonna be significant and we're gonna do it all at the same time. So yes, before we get started, I just want to tell y'all if you guys are new for joining and rocking in with the Champions Corner, please do this. You gotta subscribe. Yes, please do that. You gotta subscribe. And when you subscribe, after you check it out, and after you go back and you look at you got to go back and look at some of the videos because you might be a little off and you might not be able to be in sync with what we're doing. Chronological order, we build and we stack. It's all about growth and it's all about getting better. But you need to most definitely, in order for this series, for the PS Formula series, go look at the foundational side of it. Yes, please go look at we're laying the foundation, and that will pretty much break down the I times the A times the C divided by the D. Go look at that first video. Yes, check it out. Please check this one out. And because of time's sake, we're going to be efficient. What do I mean by that? That means that as I go through, because this is a video, you can always go back. So I'm going to try not as much as possible to repeat things, but to stay in a streamline of action of going forward and being intentional about that. Now, for the sake of details and making sure that we're thorough, we're going to remain to be significant. Y'all already know that. So the significant side of it is about to go in effect. So we're about to get started. I need y'all to lock in. Yes, lock in. Lock in. It's time. It's time. So if you got to go to the restroom, it's time to go now. I'll wait for you. Now we're going to go ahead and get started because this is a video and they can always go back. So guess what? Just don't press pause. Let's just keep it going. And all right. Before we go ahead and we dive into the details, we got to talk about something, and that is Pedmas. Pedmas. If y'all haven't heard of Pedmas, that is the order of mathematical operations. When we're going in there, we got to look at the order of operations. Definitely when we're simplifying, we're going to be using some simple math. So as we go ahead, let me go ahead and bring this up real quick. And when we're looking at the order of operations, we have what? The P stands for parentheses. Yes, parentheses. That's what we have. And then we have what? We got exponents. So we have exponents. And exponents we're not going to be using in this one. So, but that's something probably down the road we might be able to incorporate, but we're not going to use it in this one. But we do have some multiplication and division. And we're going to put division first. I know you see multiplication because that's what we're going to be doing inside of the parentheses, which is first. We're going to touch on that multiplication, but then we also have division. And then after division, you have addition, which we will be incorporating when we're talking about going into the intent calculation of it and breaking that down. There will be some addition there. We're not doing no subtraction, but you see it there, but we're not doing none today. We want to keep compounding and it's all about growth in this one. So we're going up. So we're not using that. But yes, PEDMAS, understand that. That's the order of operation. And yes, if you guys are still in school, I know my sixth graders, eighth graders, teens, high school, college, you guys should understand this. You should know this. And then my parents, Yeah, this is reteachable. You've learned it before. If you didn't, we coming back. So hopefully we're grounded. I just wanted to touch on that one real quick as we move forward. All right. All right. So now we are about to introduce, yes, a hypothetical observation. That's what we're going to go in. We're going to use this and we're going to use this hypothetical observation to be able to walk through. And let's go ahead, let's bring that up. And Maya's gonna help us out because we're gonna use Maya. Maya is basically gonna be the figure of understanding to help us dive through to get our intent calculation today. So if we look at this right here, we got the mixed intentional service, and let's just read this real quick. It says, let's say someone called Maya, who I already introduced, is engaging in 5 intentional acts of service this week. Here's how they break down. So she does what? The first one, she is mentoring a team through a local nonprofit. And we're going to give that a high value impact. We're going to do that because that's good. Mentoring a team, I like that. That's high impact. Number two, helping a colleague organize their workspace. Okay, we're going to call that moderate impact. And then number three is creating a motivational post for social media. That has some heavy potential, but very broad. So we're gonna call that moderate impact too, right? You got to have some consistency and compounding there over time to build that. So that's gonna take time. And then we have volunteering at a food bank for an hour. That's a high value impact. Most definitely serving. That's what we're talking about, that purposeful serving. And then number five, we got checking in on a friend via text. Via text. Not in person, text. Yeah, we're gonna call that moderate impact too. So we're gonna go in a little deeper on that. I know y'all like, okay, well, how is he just attaching this stuff on there? Just saying high impact and moderate. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump in that and we're gonna let's go a little deeper. So here we go. We're going to break it down a little bit. So we had that and we talked about what was moderate. We don't have anything low, not this time, but it could be. But we're dealing with high value and we're dealing with moderate impact. So let's look at our high value impact. And when we look at our high value impact, these acts create lasting transformation and ripple effects. If you guys have not, if you haven't went in and you guys haven't seen transformational encounters, we actually touch on ripple effects, being transformational and the ripple effects of what happens when you are basically being purposeful about your approach and engaging. So that's what high impact is. So when we look at Maya and how she was mentoring a team through local nonprofit, guess what? It builds identity, confidence, and long term growth. That's an investment. That's an investment. She's dialing in. She's taking somebody to the next level. Hopefully, that's the way y'all feel about what I'm doing, what Chore is doing, and what we're doing in the Champions Corner, that we're making some investments. Yes, we're making some investment in our teens, young adults, and our professionals. Most definitely, we're dealing with the youth inside of us. It ain't about the age. It's something that we probably haven't dealt with, even if we're older at a young age. You got to deal with it. Us adults, what we do sometimes, we go ahead and we promote ourselves. Oh, I'm an adult now. Oh, I'm married now. I don't have to deal with those emotional impacts. We go promote ourselves and cause all type of tragedy down the road because we didn't deal with that. But anyway, we locking back in. Let's go ahead. So when we're looking at moderate impact, yes, what is that? Supportive and meaningful, but more situational or short term. Okay, so there's some engagement there. Most definitely some weight there, but it's moderate. So we're looking at it. So when we look at Maya when she was helping a colleague organize their workspace, well, guess what? That boosts clarity and productivity. That's what she was doing. She was going, let me go ahead and help you get a little bit organized. That's what she did. Good stuff. But when we go down and we look at creating a motivational post for social media, so that man, that's an opportunity what to inspire others. And it does have what? It has the potential for a wide reach. There's a potential for a wide reach. So most definitely a lot of love there. Got to get that. Potentially it can explode. But there's probably gonna have to be some more consistency there. So we're gonna call that moderate, and most definitely that's what we're doing. And then when we're looking at checking in on a friend with a text message, okay, that shows we care. It strengthens emotional bonds. But anytime something is in person, if you can connect that way, it's great. But a text is good. Man, reaching out there, giving that words of affirmation, definitely if that's the love language. And if y'all not equipped with the 5 love language, woo, I'm gonna put that in the descriptions of the author in the book, and you guys go ahead and look at that. Read it. It's a great book, The 5 Love Languages. All right. So we locking in. We just went over and just broke down a little bit, a little deeper. We're getting a little bit deeper now as far as like, okay, what is the impact of high impact and moderate impact in Maya's examples of what she did? All right. Are y'all getting there? Y'all locking in with me? Stay with me now. Stay with me. And I'm telling y'all, so this right here is we're going to call this is a qualitative side, my young people, a qualitative side of this, and we're going to get into the quantitative side right now. Now, if don't be looking at me like you don't know what qualitative is now, because I'm going to tell you right now. You need to go to your Siri and your AI and start asking, what grade level should I know that? Because actually, some of the concepts of qualitative starts when you're probably in grade 3 through 5. Third grade through fifth, you're looking at some observational things. You're just going through some stuff. And then probably in your 6th grade year, 6th to 8th, that's when the definitions come in. You're defining what is qualitative and what quantitative is. And if you're not doing that, that's what needs to be happening. So that actually is a little trigger on where you're at and how you need to step it up. hmm All right. So we got to get there. Teachers, come on, I'm talking to y'all. Let's get the kids there. And then when you get into 9th to 12th grade, you know what you start doing? In the 9th and 12th grade, that's where we start getting rigorous with some of the conceptual acts of what we're doing when we're talking about being qualitative and quantitative. All right, had to give that to y'all real quick. Let's keep it moving. So now, when we're looking at the breakdown of that, so we went in and we're looking at it. So when you look at high impact and you're thinking, well, how do I get to a high impact versus low impact to a moderate impact? Well, this is what is going on in each one of those, which puts you in the high impact area or puts you in the moderate impact or the low. Look right here. We got reach times depth and times resonance. So when we're looking at that, then we're actually saying, hey, what are we doing in the area qualitative? So qualitative, we're looking at my reach. How many people are affected? Is it one or is it many? Now, depending on that, it depends on what it is. That still can be highly impactful if it's one. Because depending on the topic and what we're doing, it may be more impactful if it's one versus many. And there's some things where if there's many people, it could be more impact in the many than just having the one. Next, we're looking at depth. How deeply it affects them. How deeply. That's why I was saying, depending on what it is, if it's one person, it could deeply affect, or depending on what is happening and what the situation, what the result is coming out of the service, can be really, really impactful on a high level to take someone to the next level. And then we're looking at resonance. How emotional or spiritually it connects. Oh, yeah, that's what we got to look at. We got to look at that. How does it connect? Those things determines depending on where they sit and how impactful, if it's low impact, moderate, or if it's high impact. All right, let's keep it going. So now we're looking at the numbers. So we talked about that. We got a little bit deeper and we went kind of broke that down a little bit. And now we're sitting here, we're looking at, okay, where's the ranking of these numbers? All right, well, you got 1 to 4, that's your low impact area. And then we got um, mediocre. If it's mediocre impact, that's moderate, mediocre, median. That's not failure. It's just average. You know what I'm saying? That's just, it's very consistent, going through the motion type stuff. And then we got high impact, right? Which everybody is capable of giving high impact. You are. Everybody's capable of doing it. We can do it. And that is 8 to 10. And that's where we drive into that area. There's nothing wrong with mediocre impact for certain things of how we're approaching it. It's just about gauging it, putting things in its proper category. But we most definitely can level up to high impact. All right. So here we go. Keep it going. So now we're going to attach numbers to these examples from Maya. Mentoring a team, we're going to give that a high. That's a 9. We're going to give it a high 9, right? There it is. So that's a 9. Helping a colleague, moderate, we're going to give it a 6. Motivational social posts, we're going to give that one a 6 too. And then we got volunteering at a food bank. That's an 8. And like I said, these are all into the engagements of when we were talking about what is the reach, what is the depth, and where's the resonance, right? All right. So now let's go to, oh yeah, we got checking in on a friend, and that's moderate. That's 5, right? Shot a little text real quick. Hope everything's okay. You know, not really going into it too much. Just wanted to do something. Checking a box. So you get a 5 for that one. So we want to make sure that when we're looking at these, think about this when you're going in with these numbers, and make sure that you're really putting them to heart. There is an area of where you just got to be real with yourself, right? And my thing is, if you are capable and you are available, capable and available, meaning that the resources are in place, and basically the timing is in place. Anything outside of why you did not do it starts cutting you down from the 10 all the way down to the bottom. That's where you got to be real with yourself about where do you sit when you do have the capability and availability to do that. So let's go ahead. Let's look at the quantitative side. These are the numbers, and we're going to put these numbers in here. So we talked about, the 9, and we talked about the 6 and the 6 and the 8 and the 5. Well, this is where the addition comes in Pedmas, right? So now we're at the addition. Remember, everything in the parentheses first has to do what? So we have to add up those numbers. Those numbers give us 34. And then from there, we got to get the average. Well, how do you do that? We got to divide that by how many we had. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We divide that by 5. That gives us 6.8. And when we get to 6.8, hopefully you guys understand how to round. We're going to take it to that level. We're going to round that number to 7. That's going to give us our 7. Yes, that's our number. That's our 7. And that's where we're at. And now just going into summary, like I said, we're going to be efficient. We're already going in a little bit. um, on the timing, but don't worry about that. We're getting it in, and I want to make sure we can get this. So we're wrapping it up. We're in the final area, but when we're looking at this, we're looking at basically how did we look at Maya's intent and what did we consider? So we consider clarity of purpose, behind the acts, and most definitely the alignment with the core values, the consistency across the actions, and we talked about that, the depth of emotional investment, right? How is it impacting? Who is it impacting? How many is it impacting? And that gives us our final rating for intent for I, a 7 out of 10. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. But we can bump that thing up to the 8. Yes, we can. Or a 9 and a 10. So we have what we need now. Please go back. Make sure you are looking at this. Man, go back and look and replay this over and over and over. Download it. Yes. And most definitely join me again next week. And we're going over what? We're going over action. That is the second one. Yes. Just went over I, and now we're about to times that A. So remember, keep your mistakes, look at them, and turn them things into opportunities. Catch a fade with it, and I will get with y'all next time. Join me next time. Subscribe, like, drop some nuggets. Yes, y'all take care.
I don't back down, I don't flinch. Every scar wears my pinch of glory. Golden every line, I've been hit but I don't decline. Feel the heat, feel the roar, I'm the storm you can't ignore. Turn the pages of my reign, I rise again and again.